All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Gary Finneth. I'm the marketing director here at Taylor Properties. Today we have yet another webinar on social media as part of our social media series for real estate agents. Today we'll be going over LinkedIn, and today it's very high level, but we'll also show you just the basic elements of the LinkedIn platform, how it's being used, particularly in the real estate industry, and how to build your brand, get leads and referrals using LinkedIn. Today we also have with us Kyle Stolte. He is the senior loan officer here with us, partner company at Heritage Financial. He's been doing a number of these webinars, particularly with social media in the past with Facebook and Instagram. So if you haven't seen those yet, check those out on our YouTube channel. And as we go forward throughout the year, we'll also have more webinars with Kyle and how he can help you leverage these free platforms and also help you in your personal communications with your clients to get more business. So with all that being said, Kyle, take it away.
Cool. How's everybody doing? I guess you guys can't respond to me like I'm used to. If anybody else has been in any of my other classes or presentations, this will look very familiar to you, give you some good information, some good feedback, and kind of get you started with LinkedIn. So if you have questions throughout this, please don't hesitate to enter it into the chat. You can't raise your hand or anything like that, but if you enter it in the chat, we'll make sure to get answers to your questions throughout the day. But I want you guys to participate. And afterwards, if you guys want to do a follow-up, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is everywhere. You can find it on my emails. You can find it. Gary's going to send it out after this along with the notes and everything. So just reach out to me. It's Kyle@heritagefinancial.com. We'll set something up and we'll chat. But for now, I just want to get right into it. So this is more how to find out, or how to find some more leads and some more business on LinkedIn. LinkedIn isn't one of the platforms that a lot of people talk about for generating leads, but it's actually the best one. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. So today we're going to talk about setting up your profile, building your network, posting content, some tips and tricks from the people who do it the best, some bonus ideas. And this right here, what we're about to show you is going to tell you why that this is a good social media network to be a part of. HubSpot report compiled from more than 5,000 companies found that LinkedIn produced 277% more leads than Facebook and Twitter. So that's not to say that you shouldn't be using those other platforms. You should be using them, but you should use this as well. Again, like Gary mentioned, it's free. So why not? And I want you today to go, if you haven't already set up a profile, go do it while it's fresh in your mind, and you can refer back to the slides and then come back later on to fine tune things. And we'll talk about how to do that as well. But you want to have a presence on here. And if you ever, God forbid, have a change in careers or a change in lifestyle, or you need to move to a different state or anything like that, it's good to be active on there to find other people in your industry. And if you ever need another position or another connection, it never hurts to know people. So this is the professional social network. So there's more to LinkedIn than simply, signing up for an account. The lead generation on this platform requires a little bit more effort. It's not as much as you would say on Facebook, but like anything, it takes effort, right? So we have a lot of lead generation ideas here for you as a part of this, and a lot of ideas that'll help you grow your database. So take one thing, implement it at a time, and move on to the next thing. And again, you'll have copies of these so that you can always refer back to it. So personal profile or company page is the first decision that you're going to have to make. So just like Facebook and Instagram, you have the choice between the two and which one you want to go with. And they get frequently asked questions at LinkedIn that you can see on their page. And there's two things that are the highest ones. It's how do I get more followers, and what's the difference between a company page and a personal page. So for you guys, unless you're a brokerage, you likely won't need that company page. If you work for a franchise like Taylor Properties, which you all do, I believe, all you would do is link that personal profile to the Taylor Properties page. So for most agents, your personal profile is what you're going to be doing. And that's because people want to search for you. They don't want to search for Taylor Properties. They don't want to search for Keller Williams or Remax. They want the agent. So not your company, and the broker or owner, or if you have a team, you may look into doing that, but still, even then, those are more passive profiles, whereas the personal profiles are more active. Okay. Next, so how do we set this up? And we're going to go through this fairly quickly, just so you guys have an idea, because you're going to be able to refer back to this. I don't want you guys doing it now or anything, but this personal profile is going to tell you who you are. It's going to tell what you do, who you help, who your target audience is, and you want to list your past accomplishments. So here you can see there's 5 critical elements to the profile. Your profile picture, your headline, which is very important, just as much as your profile picture, your custom URL or website link, your background image, and a compelling bio or summary about you. So we're going to take a closer look at each one. So professional headshot, I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over and over again in these presentations, because I see it all the time where the headshot or the photo that you use on social media is not, I would say, up to today's standards. There's so many, our phones have better cameras than, what cameras you could buy when I was a kid, and I'm sure when most of you were kids. So there's no reason not to use a high quality headshot, and you should do so by using a professional. But if you're trying to get leads and referrals through LinkedIn, that's the first thing that they see. So, and on Facebook and on Instagram not as much, but Facebook for sure. So you want to use a headshot that shows that you're confident, competent, likable, and it should be a high resolution, not grainy, not a photo taken at a bar or anything like that. It should reflect who you are as a real estate agent. Now, after you upload the headshot, you want to go to your page, like you see here with Katie's, and make sure that that picture is cropped correctly. And because sometimes it does come off a little bit to the side. So just, again, make sure you're double checking what you do, because this is the first thing that the person is going to see, that the future client or lead or coworker is going to see. To pick the best headshot, there's a great thing out there called Photo Feeler, photofeeler.com. And what it does is it lets you put multiple headshots in front of thousands of people who anonymously rank it for competence, likability, and influence. So you want to upload a few different ones and then see what they rank and see what's the highest. And that's the one that you might want to go with. But that way you don't have to ask your brother, your sister, your friends, because they're going to tell you look great and everything, or they'll be brutally honest and maybe not the feedback that you want. This is a great way to anonymously get some feedback. Again, that's photofeeler.com. It's a great tool. The headline, I would argue, is the next, or maybe even the highest ranking on most important list, because it gives your viewers, the people who come to your page, an idea of what you do. So it's about 100 characters, I believe. Yeah, 100 character max description of your role, job title, and expertise. But you should get as creative as possible. And I've said this before in other presentations. I'll continue to say it. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Go look at the people who are crushing it in these spaces on LinkedIn, on Facebook. See what their profiles say. Get ideas. This stuff is out there for you guys to take and use as your own. So here, Valerie, she showcases her specialty and some of her results. But I mean, is there any doubt that she's a Beverly Hills real estate agent? I mean, it says it 2 or 3 times. #1 office, Greater Los Angeles area, Beverly Hills top producing luxury real estate. So have that connection, not only with what you do and how you do it, but what area you're serving and make it fun. You know, maybe you're someone who likes sailing, or, you know, whatever other activity, you know, say Annapolis realtor since 2006, you know, captain of a sailboat since 1986, whatever it is that you like to do on the side, don't be afraid to share that. This is a professional network, but people want to know who you are and align with those interests that you have as well. And also highlight your focus area. So don't try to cast this wide net where you say Maryland realtor. Show them where, I mean, there's so many different suburbs and little neighborhoods, and there's thousands of people within a square mile. You can just do your area, and you want to be specific and direct with that area. So you can change this at any time when you're setting this up. So again, go look and see who's doing it well and try to take some ideas from them. But overall, this should be a very big focus of yours when you're first setting up your page and moving forward when you start to look at the analytics on how your page is performing, which we'll talk about again soon. So custom link. When you first set up the profile on LinkedIn, I believe now it asks you to do the custom link up front, but you want to edit this URL to put it as your name if you can. If you have a very common name, you know, I'm sure you've dealt with this when you try to come up with an email, say, for your real estate business. Use something that you're using across all platforms if you're on all platforms. If your email says DMV Realtor, then maybe that's what your LinkedIn URL should be, and your Facebook URL and your Instagram handle. So make sure that they're all congruent with each other and you're displaying the same message across all platforms. So right here, and again, I think this is older, but it's still relevant. You want to use that pencil icon to change the URL, but make it your name if you can, or whatever it is that you're marketing, however you market yourself, just make sure you're continuing that brand on here as well. A background image. Again, this goes back to the headshot too. You can use an image like one here where it shows the real estate, you know, you're in real estate, shows a very nice house. You want something that's attractive and professional, but is not very busy, because you want your headshot and that headline to be what people focus on. And if you don't have a picture to put there, like if it's every month you're putting a new listing as your background from your professional photos that are done, not photos from your cell phone or anything, but if you do that and change that every month, that's an idea that I've seen done before. But if you don't have anything, Fiverr is a website, fiverr.com with 2 R's. You can hire a freelance person to do some kind of background image for you that works, and maybe even with your headshot all together. There's also sites like Canva, which a lot of people use. Canva has a lot of stock images, but the thing about Canva is everyone has access to it. So there's likely to be other people out there, even in your area, using the same image. So you want to stand out. That's the biggest thing. Just stand out as much as you can, but don't go overboard. So if you want something original, you want to be original, go to Fiverr, hire somebody freelance to do some headshots and to get some background photos for you, change them out periodically. But for this, try not to use stock images that are very popular. And then the bio. Again, go look at the people who do it well, read a bunch of different bios, but this is where you want to have a compelling story about yourself. You know, draft this up. Don't just type it in, draft it. You want a description of your approach to real estate, details about your specialties, the areas that you serve. You can put links to websites and videos in here. You also want, as you can see, Valerie here has some highlights listed down at the bottom. If you have these, great. If you're just starting out, obviously you're not going to have these. So you want to find, again, other profiles that kind of look like yours or look like your situation and see what they're doing well and what you like about theirs. And don't be afraid to take some of those things from them. But make sure you draft this. This is definitely something where if the lead comes onto your page and sees your headshot, they like it, sees your headline, they like it, they're going to start digging a little deeper, and you want them to have something to read that's compelling. And this is the same thing. I mean, when you fill out this information, it's going to ask you when you create your profile to fill out the work experience, your skills, your education, your accomplishments. And you want to do a deep dive into this so that if a lead or referral ever does a deep dive, that they can find that, you have the experience to do this. You have the tools, and you have the credentials and the awards. If you have awards, any of this, just make sure you're putting it in there. Don't leave it blank, because otherwise it looks like you haven't had a job before this. And especially if someone is truly vetting you this far. Not many people will go this far, but if they do, you want to have it. This is a big one, recommendations and skill endorsements. LinkedIn didn't have the skill endorsements originally when I first joined, and then they started doing this a few years back. And it allows clients or colleagues to write up testimonials or give you endorsements for certain skills or services. So after you set this up, you want to reach out to colleagues, past clients, friends, family, see if you can get recommendations from them. And this is recommendations are basically online reviews. It's like Google reviews or something like that. It's the same thing, but just on LinkedIn. So if someone has posted a review on Zillow or on Google or on HomeSnap for you, maybe ask them, hey, would you mind using this link just to copy and paste that? And I have my clients do that all the time. After we settled on a loan, I give them links to all my social media and websites and everywhere they can put a review. And I try to give them an incentive to say, hey, if you copy and paste that on all of them, we'll do something. We'll get you a housewarming gift, or we'll show up for the housewarming party, maybe cater it. But I try to get them to provide their experience, because otherwise we're just a face online, especially now during COVID, when it's hard for me to go out and meet people. This is all they have. Somebody's going to come to you, and all they're going to see is somebody's review or multiple people's reviews, hopefully. But that's all they have to go on. And that's what I tell people. Look, I need your help. I need people to understand that I deliver a high quality service here. And the only way that I get to tell people that without telling them is if you tell them. So try to get those testimonials, those recommendations, and skill endorsements, which we'll talk about a little bit more right here. So ask for the recommendation is up at the top under that first page. And when you do that, it will bring up this page here. So after you click ask for recommendation, this box will appear and you'll be prompted to type in that person's name who you want to request the recommendation from. So LinkedIn will walk you through the rest of the process, but only first degree connections can recommend you. So we'll cover the different connection degrees in just a little bit, but to build your LinkedIn endorsements page, you want to consider leaving recommendations for your colleagues and your other connections. So when you give, you receive, right? Because when you give somebody a recommendation, it'll notify that person, and it'll also ask if they want to give you a recommendation. So giving is receiving a lot in these cases. So start off leaving recommendations and giving endorsements to your colleagues, friends, family, anybody you have connections with on there. And that way you'll get some in return ultimately. This is the dashboard. So this is a great source of information, and only you are privy to this. So it provides you with the information on three main areas: who viewed your profile, who viewed your posts, and your search appearances. And this is the area of the profile that, again, you should visit often to gauge the engagement and growth on your LinkedIn. So use this often, refer back to it, but there is right here, when you go into this feature on the homepage, when you're looking at your homepage here, the who's viewed your profile section, if you click the words who's viewed your profile, then you'll see the details of the last 5 people who looked at your profile. Now, the information you'll see when you click on it is this. So it's the trend of visits that you've had in the past 90 days. For basic members, which is most of you right now, you'll see the most recent 5 people, like I said, who visited the profile, but they give you the option to upgrade to a premium account for LinkedIn. So you'll be able to see everyone who's viewed your profile in the last 90 days if you upgrade to the premium account. So if you find that this is working well for you, or maybe you feel like you're getting a lot of views, but not a lot of people reaching out to you, maybe you want to pay for this for a little bit to see if maybe you can figure out why, or figure out who's looking at it, connect with them. But paying for it, the only people I've really known who do pay for the LinkedIn premium account are like recruiters, companies, major, brokerages themselves will do it. But unless you see you're doing very well with LinkedIn, I would start off with just the regular version. You don't need to jump in right away. So as you continue to scroll down here, you'll see on your profile where there's articles and activity that appear. So this is where you want to be active. Now, Facebook and LinkedIn, or Facebook and Instagram, are a little different, where you need to be active because that information on the timeline is just flowing, right? And unless you start to get interactions on Facebook, it's going to just get down to the bottom very quickly and your posts aren't going to be seen. For this, you want to post things about like market advice, updates, trends. We all know the trend today. It's a seller's market, right? Maybe some different things about when that seller's market may end, speculation on that, when to get started if you're waiting for that to end. Try to be a little different in the stuff that you post, but if you're having trouble figuring out what to post, what should you do? Look at the people who are doing it well. What are they posting? What are their sources? When you post and share an article with something, you're sharing something from another site. And if you see those people sharing information that's interesting to you, it's probably interesting to other people. Click on the link, see where they shared it from, and guess what? Now you have a new news source that you're going to be able to look at and monitor every day and share to your feed. But you want to post videos and infographics as well, but the stories and the information is really what's important on the professional site that LinkedIn is. So to publish on LinkedIn, it's just like other platforms. When you log into your account on your homepage, you'll see the option of sharing an article, writing an article, posting an image, uploading a video. And then once you hit publish, you'll actually get people who within your connections that will receive notifications depending on their settings. I do all the time, but the rule of thumb for LinkedIn is 1 to 2 times per week. Comment on other people's posts as well. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't move fast, the content on LinkedIn. So you can get away with the less frequent posting, but if you're posting stuff on Facebook, you can probably post the same things to LinkedIn and the same things to Instagram. So don't be afraid to cross-pollinate that news and information across the different platforms. So how do we build the network on LinkedIn? So to get more leads, the first thing you want to do is allow LinkedIn to connect with your email contacts automatically. So it's going to ask you about this when you first connect, and you want to upload this so that you can email your contact list and invite them to connect with you on LinkedIn. So this may or may not be the most personal way to build the network, but it's quick, it's efficient, it's automatic. You don't have to think about it. And you can select who you want out of that list to be sent information to. So it doesn't just send it to everybody. But this is what it looks like when you allow LinkedIn to access your email contact list. So you just put in your email address, follow the steps, and it means that every single person can be invited to join and connect with you on LinkedIn. After you go through this, LinkedIn will let you select from dozens or the hundreds of people that you haven't connected to. Once a contact accepts your invitation to connect, all you need to do is send them a quick message thanking them for their connection, reintroduce yourself if you haven't spoken in a while. And if you have already established a relationship with that contact, so if it's, your coworker who you work next to every day, and you didn't know they were on LinkedIn, that sends them an email, you guys connect, maybe you want to start with those connections that you don't need to reintroduce yourself to by sending them an endorsement or a recommendation. That way, again, you're going to get some of those back and you could start to build those very quickly. All right, direct connect requests. So if you know somebody, what I used to do when I was first starting out as a loan officer is I would go to all the open houses to try to meet as many realtors as possible. I would try to go to 7 or 8 a Saturday and 3 or 4 on a Sunday. And when I got home, after I met the different agents, I would go right to social media and I'd like their pages. I'd add them as friends on my personal page and I'd try to connect with them on LinkedIn. So if they accept that connection on LinkedIn, it's going to be a first degree connection. Okay. So it means they're directly friends with you. And you should make that a practice of everyone that you meet, any client that you talk to, anything. Even if it's not a hot lead, maybe they don't use you, but if you're posting relevant content and, a year or 2 down the road, they decide to, move, maybe they didn't have the best experience with the realtor they did use, or maybe they didn't purchase for that time. So again, connect with all the clients that you're meeting. Doesn't matter if they are or end up being a client. They should end up being a client if you're connected to them and you're on top of their mind by posting. You just want to show that you're the expert in this field. And if they won't pick up the phone for you, they're going to log into Facebook. They're going to log into LinkedIn. They're going to log in to Instagram and see your stuff if you're being diligent about posting on a regular schedule. So to see a list of every person that you sent a connection request to, you just click on the My Network up at the top there, and you'll see there's a see all button, so you can see all the people that you sent a connection to. And there is groups that are out there. Now, if you're not a part of different Facebook groups for realtors, then I highly suggest you find some of those. Not only is there, comedic relief, because you get to sit there and listen to all the different agents and their horror stories, but there's also a lot of helpful hints, tips, news, market updates that these other agents from either your area or across the country are sharing. I'm part of multiple loan officer groups on Facebook. I'm always getting updates about different products, different ways that people were able to make a deal work that maybe might save one deal this year and get a family into a home that wouldn't have last year if I hadn't been a part of that group. It's important to be a part of these different groups so that you get updates and that you can be an expert in your field by sharing with like minds. It also helps to give you notifications for like networking events and just different events in the area. So you can be hyper local with that. So if it's like, Maryland real estate, or if it's national, that's okay too. Again, we're just looking to get ideas, to stay on top of current news and information, and to really just be the consummate professional that we want to be in the real estate space. So you would search for these groups up at the top there as it shows. And then once you search, you're going to hit the drop down and select groups instead of individuals. And then once you do join a group, if you see people that you like, network with them, connect with them, start to talk with them, share ideas. You want to connect with as many people as you can if you didn't start to notice a trend here. The people you know feature is very good. It recommends based on commonalities between you and other LinkedIn members. So it also looks at your contacts that you've imported in email from your email and your mobile address book. So this is a great place to start as well, to try to get other people that you probably do know that you haven't connected with. Maybe they worked at the same brokerage in the past. Maybe you guys share a child that goes to the same school or whatever it is. Just try to connect again with as many people. And then after you connect, what do? You send them a message, thank you for the connection, or you send them a recommendation or skill so that they send you one back. Badges. So these should go into your website and to your email signatures. You can create these just by going to the settings and following the instructions, but it always looks good when you have those buttons in your email signatures so people can just click on them and go right to your social media. But it's just a good way to build up your network. Every email that you send will now have that badge in there, which will put your LinkedIn to the forefront, right in front of your clients, right in front of the title companies you're working with, whoever. There's different badge options. So you'll find the steps under settings, like I mentioned. And again, I encourage all of you to put that in your email signature. It always looks good. And you should do that with Facebook and Instagram as well. So the degrees of connection is something that's important when understanding how LinkedIn works. So basically, people in your network, the people who have accepted your request, are a first degree connection. This means that you're directly in contact with them. And there's others that are labeled second and third degree connections. So a second degree connection is right here, a friend of a friend. So the second degree is the friend of the first degree, someone who the first degree is connected with, and but you're not yet. So you can see those connections and you want to connect with those people, right? The third degree is friends of the second degree. So unlike Facebook and LinkedIn, you don't just get to see anybody. So you get to see people that are within those connections. So in order to expand your reach, you need to figure out how to get to those second and third degree connections, connect with them, and then you get their second and third degree connections. So it's not like, don't get me wrong, you can go and search your friend's name and connect with them. But if you don't know their name, and if they're not a connection or a second or third degree connection to one of your connections, they won't show up. You have to know the name in order to find it. Whereas Facebook, they give you friends. If you just log into Facebook, it'll show people you may know or people you may want to connect with. You may not have any friends in common with them. It's likely that you do on Facebook, but you still can't, or you can be friends with anybody on Facebook. On LinkedIn, you need to have a connection in order to see their profile. So from the pros, and these are really good to take in, we want to connect with out-of-town agents. So again, this goes back to being a part of those groups that we talked about, the real estate professional groups. If you're looking for leads on LinkedIn, I don't know how many times you guys have run into this, but the connection of loan officers that I have, and again, I keep going back to loan officers because that's how I relate it to things, but it's very similar what we do. So the connection to loan officers that I have, loan officers are licensed in, we can be licensed in any state. We don't have to be located in that state to do business there. And just today, I had a client of mine who decided to purchase in Georgia instead of Maryland. And I know a friend of mine who is licensed in Georgia. So I was able to send him a client instead of sending it to some random loan officer that, we don't even know down in Georgia who may not deliver the best customer service. So here's the same kind of thing. If you have connections with other agents on LinkedIn out of town and they have a Maryland, Virginia, DC, Pennsylvania lead that they can't help, well, they think of you because you've connected with them, you've spoken with them, you sent them a recommendation, endorsed them for a skill, and they thought of you when they thought of this, or when this person said they were looking to move to Maryland. So by connecting with those out-of-town agents, you're going to build a referral network. And do the same. If you have somebody looking outside of our state and you're not going to be able to help them, obviously use your connections first, but what goes around comes around. If you send somebody something, they're going to do their best to give you back something. And these should be people that you trust. Obviously, you can't know them through just LinkedIn, right? But if you've connected with them, you've chatted with them a little bit, told them how you enjoy their posts and the stuff that they're sharing, you can start to get a feel for who someone is. So this guy actually does a great idea. He has a great tool that he uses. So LinkedIn's very powerful for generating leads in specific areas. So you can geo-target your leads. This guy, Tim, he's in San Francisco. And what he does when he has a listing is he creates a walkthrough video of the property. He targets 5 companies located within a few blocks of that listing. And then using LinkedIn's search capabilities, he sends a connect request or a direct message with a short introduction and link to the walkthrough video. Now, following this procedure, what he did is he found the listing, located the 5 companies that work nearby, targeted those companies as, hey, these employees will probably want to live close to work, right? So here's a listing that is available, and sends them using InMail a video walkthrough of his new listing. And he says he generates 5 to 10 genuine real estate conversations for each listing. So that's 5 to 10 conversations you weren't having before. This today may not apply, right? Because the listing comes on and it goes off the market just as quick. But we don't want to forget about this, because today won't be forever. And maybe it's a unique property, right? We all have those different unique properties that we found, a rehab, something that just is out of the ordinary. Those you definitely need to go outside of the box for. So again, this is just another idea that you can use to help get eyes on your listings. So studies show that quick action creates quick results, right? So the Sandler sales training found that people are 100% more likely to positively respond to a call or message if they are communicated with within 5 minutes of posting on LinkedIn. So if you're posting content on LinkedIn, don't just bail after you've posted the content, or monitor that post. If someone engages with that content, you want to respond like that. It's the same thing with email. It's the same thing with text messages. Someone texts you, it's a client, it's Sunday night, 9 o'clock, you just opened the bottle of wine, you just poured yourself a glass, and they're like, hey, do you have time to talk? Or, hey, I have a question about this. Even if you can't respond or you can't answer that question, it's a simple, hey, I'm not in a good spot right now to be able to answer your question. I'll text you or I'll call you first thing tomorrow, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. We'll discuss this further. But just the quick response allows them to be at ease, knowing that they're going to get their answer. It's the same thing with LinkedIn. As soon as you get a response, you want to be able to put in a comment, let them know that you're there, answer their questions. But engagement is the key to all social media presence, not just LinkedIn. But again, engage. If you post, don't bail. Like I said, this is kind of redundant, but posting 1 to 2 times per week is the minimum really that's required. And if you haven't signed up or used a scheduler in the past, these are 2 that you can use. It's 2 tools that allows you to schedule your post ahead of time. I use later.com, later.com. That is a free version of these basically, and allows me to post to all my social media and schedule that up to a month out. And that way I don't have to be there. But again, I'm breaking the rule of engagement if I'm not monitoring when that post goes out. So I have my app set up to where it notifies me when I post something. And then that way I can be on alert that if anybody responds to that, comments on it, likes it, I can thank them, reach out to them, and just be available. So you want to be, again, don't post and bail, basically. Now, these both have free trials. I think you have to pay for both of those. So again, later.com is the one that I use that's free, but these 2 are a step above that if you want to pay for it. This Jolynn here, she did something that was pretty interesting that I thought, so I wanted to put it in here. She is a agent out of Texas, I believe. And let me see here. Yeah, Plano, Texas is where she's an agent. And she found out that Toyota was moving from Torrance, California to Plano, Texas, the plant that they have there. So she reached out immediately, targeted geographically that specific area. So where Toyota plant was in Torrance, California. And she sent them helpful real estate information about Plano, Texas, and said, hey, I saw your company was moving. If you decide that you're going to move along with them, here's some useful information about the real estate here. Here's what rent looks like. Here's what sales look like. Here's what you're going to spend, blah, blah, blah. And got a lot of response from that and created a bunch of new deals and new business for her. So Amazon plants are opening up all the time, and there's different shipping sites that are opening up for not only Amazon, but DHL, UPS, these hubs that these trucking centers need to go to. Anything that you see a company moving from one area to another, this is just an idea for you to reach out and try to get business that way. But I'd never heard that before, and I thought it was very interesting, so I wanted to share it with you. Let's see, some bonus ideas. Let's see here, there's a couple of them. Really, the bonus ideas are kind of just using the bios and everything. It's just make sure that you're putting all of your accurate information into your bio, but doll it up, make the bio look good, make your work history look good, make your experience look good. But the LinkedIn Live is the last thing that I wanted to talk about. So video is the fastest growing format on a lot of platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well. So you want to use the LinkedIn Live. If you're really getting good at LinkedIn, start looking into this. I'm just telling you about it. I don't have a class on it yet, but if you guys do want to look into that further, I can do a class on that, or we can meet individually. But this is the next thing you want to look at after you create your profile. And then make sure you have a valuation landing page. So this way, when people go to LinkedIn and they find you, you have credibility because it captures leads directly from LinkedIn. We have some tools. I have some tools to help you do that, but I'll get with Gary. And if you guys don't have a valuation landing page, please let us know. And I'll get with Gary and help to get a source so we can all set that up. But for now, that should be a goal of yours too, to deliver these LinkedIn leads to a page where it's professional and you get a list of these leads and a place to capture them. With that said, that's what I have for LinkedIn. I've just talked for, 30 minutes straight, and it was pretty quick, high level overview, but it should give you enough ideas to start. Once you've gotten to that point where you've started, you've got your page set up, you've got your connections, everything like that, then we can look at doing, a class on the advertisements, which we do for Facebook and Instagram. We're running ads and how to best utilize those. So if you guys are interested in that, please let us know so that I can start putting that content together. Other than that, I think if you apply everything we've learned, you should have a pretty good LinkedIn profile and on your way to building some targeted leads. So with that said, if you guys don't know me, I'm Kyle. I'm your in-house loan officer, right next door at Heritage Financial. And I'm not just here to try to earn your business and do the loans, but I honestly want to be your partner. So if you have questions, even if you've never used me before, never spoke with me, if you have a deal that's falling through with another mortgage company, another loan officer, and you just want to run it by somebody with experience, please don't hesitate to reach out to me for anything. I try to do as much to help you guys as possible. And we're here to help you. And the difference between us and a different bank or loan officer is just mainly the fact that we're brokers. I've worked for direct lenders like First Home Mortgage. I've worked for call centers, and brokers just have access to more products. The rates are lower, and it just allows us some more freedom. So if you have somebody who has, a niche product, they want something like a 203K loan, or something that, you don't normally cross every day, we have those. And then if they just want a 20% down conventional or 0% down USDA, that everything in between, we have a lender that does it. We work with over 70 banks, some as big as Quicken, some mom and pop shops that you've probably never heard of that probably have better rates than Quicken because they don't advertise during the Super Bowl. It's just a matter of us sending them the business, and we only send them the business if they have the best pricing. So on the wholesale side of things, you always get a cheaper rate for your client. So what really matters for you guys is getting closed on time and being communicative. I'm always available. I'm always going to answer my cell phone. If I don't pick up, text me, email me, leave me a voicemail. I will always call you back. But weekends, nights, if there's something that you need, I will always be available, as well as the rest of the team at Heritage Financial. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if there's anything that we can do to help you. So with that, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys coming, and I guess stay tuned for the next presentation next month. Gary?
Appreciate the time, Kyle. As Kyle mentioned, this meeting was recorded. It's going to be put up on our YouTube channel, also in the Taylor Properties agent dashboard, if you want to refer back to it. We will be having one next month. I believe that content is still up in the air, but we'll be definitely shooting that out as soon as we get that settled. So keep an eye on your email. And until then, you guys take care. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.